The thing is, these days you have so many credit building apps that you really don't know which one to choose. I mean, we covered Money Lion. You hear like Chime here. You hear Sybil One. And in today's conversation, I want to talk to you about Extra. And this is actually Debit that builds credit. That's how the whole system works. And I want to really give you an in-depth review so you have a clear idea what you're getting yourself into if you want to go with this Extra debit card to build credit, of course. So here's an overview I want you to pay attention to. So the thing here is that if you are trying to build credit real fast, it's not going to happen through Extra or Money Lion or Kickoff or whatever or what have you. I want you to plan at least 3 months, 3 to 6 solid months to see a good 100 points in your credit score increase. You want to have a boost, you got to have at least 100 days, okay? 3 months to 6 months. Don't let people telling you can raise your credit score by 100 points in 30 days. It won't happen. I've said this before on other shows. I want to say it here again. It won't happen, okay? They're lying to your face. So Extra, through its system of debit cards, can help you boost your credit. This is kind of cool. And all you have to do is to spend on your Extra debit card, and Extra will pay itself back actually from your bank account the next business day. And all transactions on your Extra debit card are reported to Experian and Equifax. Right now, Extra doesn't report transactions to TransUnion. Maybe this will change in the future. And so the spending limit is based on your bank account balance and other factors, okay? And so there is no minimum initial deposit. There is an annual, there's a monthly fee though, a monthly fee that is calculated on an annual basis. So we're looking at $150 to $200 a year. So divide that by 12, you were probably like 150 divided by 12, that's about $12, or I think something like that, $12. Okay, so this is something to really think about. And so they only report to 2 bureaus. So the bottom line here is what? Boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. And basically, the way Extra works is that Extra is a debit card that reports payments to credit reporting bureaus. And so when you swap your Extra debit card, the company spots you the money. The next business day, Extra pays itself back from your bank account. At the end of the month, Extra reports your payment history to the credit bureaus. Okay, this is fantastic. Welcome back to the show. I really appreciate having you here. It's just wonderful. So what are the pros and cons of this service? The pros: you are able to build your credit with your spending. You earn up to 1% rewards points on debit purchases. It's very easy to get in touch with customer service. What about the cons? You do have a high annual fee, like $150. That's not like cheap change. That's money. And they only report to 2 out of 3 credit bureaus. So it's something that Extra needs to fix. What are the features I really want you to pay attention to? So when we talk about the Extra features, you have a lot of things that you can actually glean from this service. First of all, you have credit building. So you are able to build credit real fast. Again, real fast means that within 100 days, you can see 100 points boost. And if you extend, let's say you go from 100 days to 6 months, for example, like 180 days or 200 days, then you can see major gains. Okay, the thing is, the gains are in the, like, you have to think about a medium term in terms of getting the gains that you want to see. So the monthly fees, when it comes to Extra, you have a credit building and you have rewards plus credit building. In terms of monthly fees, you are able to, if you want to choose only the credit building aspect of things, you are paying $150 per year. If you want to take the rewards plus the credit building capability, then you have to really plan to spend nearly $200 per year. Again, $200 per year. We're speaking about 200 divided by 12. That's about what? $15, $16 every month. So this is something you have to think about. If this is something you want to go for, yeah, go for it. Okay. And Extra doesn't do any credit check, because again, this is a debit card that actually acts as a credit card to help you out. And so the Extra wants to make sure that you are able to connect to your bank account, because the thing is that more than 10,000 banks in the country can be used with Extra debit card. The company is located in LA, so basically not a problem there. If you want to contact Extra's customer service, the number is 844-932-3955, 844-932-3955. 3955. And customer service hours 24/7, not a problem. And the Extra has a mobile app that's available on iOS and Android. This is really cool. You are able to access your account also through a desktop or web account, not a problem. So everything doesn't happen only through the app. And one thing I want to say here is that this is actually a fintech. So Extra is a fintech. It's not a bank. So they don't have like physical brick and mortar branches. Okay, you're not going to see none. This is an online only operation. And you have to really remember that the rewards points, like those are 1% of all debit purchases, 1%, nothing more. About the services that you might love if you were to go with Extra, because this is important to understand that Extra adds value on a lot of fronts, and Extra is here to help you reach your goals, your credit building goals real fast. So, but before I talk about the services, please let me remind you of today's topic. I'm giving you an in-depth review of the Extra debit/credit card, so that you are able to build credit real fast through the transactions that you run through Extra. So basically, you do have spending. So anytime you spend money, you are building credit. So Extra reports your transactions on the debit card at the end of the month as creditworthy payments to Experian and Equifax. Currently, it doesn't report your activity to TransUnion, which is a third major credit bureau. And when Extra starts to report payment history to Experian and Equifax, you start to build a credit history. However, you might run into issues because you want to have the same credit history as TransUnion. Okay, but this is a risk you are running that you should be comfortable taking. Lenders may not view you as a favorable credit risk if you have vastly different credit history at different credit bureaus. So it's important to keep that in mind. And your spend power is based on your bank account balance. Okay, don't think that they will give you like something extra so you can use use a lot of cash. No, your spend power is primarily correlated. There's a strong correlation between your spend power and your bank account balance. So this is totally based on your account balance and other factors, by the way, though. So your spend power starts out small for new members and generally increases as you establish a positive payment history. If you have a large bank account balance, you may have a larger spending limit each day. However, people with smaller account balances will have lower limits. And the spend power limits may seem a bit restrictive, but Extra tracks your bank balance to help you avoid overspending. You also have the spend today, pay tomorrow sort of a program at Extra. So when you spend on your Extra debit card today, Extra spots you for your purchase, and the exact amount you spend will be deducted from your bank account the next business day. And Extra actually helps you keep track of your purchases. So those are things that really you need to think about. The only thing is that Extra is only available in the US. But the thing is, you don't have to be a US citizen to use Extra. Not at all. You have to be a legal resident in this country. You must be 18 years old, have a US based bank account, a US address, and a social security number or ITIN number. ITIN stands for Individual Tax Identification Number. And Extra, when you really think about it, can be a great tool for people who don't have a strong foothold in the US-based financial system to start building credit. Okay, so if you are struggling right now to actually build credit in the US because you are an immigrant or because you have other issues going on in your life, you can use Extra. You also have a flat annual fee. I mean, it is a steep fee though, but hey, listen, it is flat. It's not changing at all. So you will pay $149 per year to use Extra's debit as credit service called Credit Building. And as a user, you also have access to a spending tracker app similar to Personal Capital and other budgeting apps. Okay. And so if you upgrade to the Rewards Plus Credit Building level, you will pay $199 per year. However, this option comes with up to 1% rewards points on all purchases on your debit card. So this is really good. And you also have the ability to earn rewards points. That's what I just said. But you have to pay for it. You have to pay for it. So once you have this option that I told you about, you are able to benefit. This is really cool. Okay. One thing I want to say here is that when you think about Extra, don't think about this as a long-term sort of plan. No. Extra is one of those credit building apps where you actually just consider them for a few months And then, maximum 1 year. That's what we advise our viewers to do. Maximum 1 year. So once you actually are getting close to the 1 year anniversary, then you want to switch to another plan. Because once you're able to raise your FICO score to an acceptable limit, let's say you go all the way to 650 or 700, it's just better to switch to a regular credit card. So you can actually build your credit faster. And don't forget that Extra does not report your transactional activity to TransUnion. So right off the bat, you have this sort of limitation there, and this could be problematic down the road. So this is really important that you have to think about that. Really, really key here. And one thing I want to say also is that you have to think about the fees versus the rewards. Rewards here. No, let's talk about the fees. Are there any fees? Yes, you heard it. I just said it. There are two primary fees, the 149 that I spoke about and the 199. Now, how do you choose the fee you want to go for? Well, there are a lot of things. First of all, how quickly do you want to establish credit? And what are your resources? What is your budget, right? I mean, if you have a budget to spare $199 every month, then go for it. I mean, if you have a good job or you don't have, like you just happen not to have a credit right now and you're trying to build credit, then basically, yeah, either you have a good job or you have access to some cash, some stash of cash, then yeah, go for it. So when we talk about the fees, the fees, 149 for the basic and 199 for the, for the second category. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation about Extra. So the Extra debit card. So I'm reviewing this Extra debit card / credit card, and I'm giving you all the ins and outs, the pros and cons that you need to have if you want to benefit from this Extra debit card. What is a contact here? When we talk about Extra, what is a contact? So Extra calls its customer support team a white glove concierge, and the company is very accessible. So you can call the concierge team at 844-932-3555 or email hey@Extra app. So for an online chat option, just visit Extra app help and select the chat icon. So after a few minutes, you'll be chatting with an online agent. So this is totally possible. Well, everything is very seamless through the Extra app, and you're able also. So let's say if you want to write to the San Francisco-based company, you can send a letter to 150 Sutter Street, PO Box 372, San Francisco, California 94104. We'll put this address, sort of address on the screen so you have a clear idea. So again, it's 150 Sutter Street, PO Box 372, San Francisco, California 94104. I want to talk to you about the Extra rivals, because Extra is not the only one in this industry. And the thing is that when you are trying to build your credit, and as I've said on other shows, it's important to consider more than one credit building app, because those credit builders, they tell you, hey, they promise you all kinds of stuff like we'll raise your score, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do this, and then you realize at the end that they don't do anything. So the thing is, Extra. I mean, I'm not saying Extra does the same thing. But the thing is, you have to think about, like, if they're asking you to pay $15 a month, or like you have Varo, you have a Chime, you have Sable One, you have all those players. They're asking you to pay $9 every month, but if they don't have any ability to help you sort of increase your credit real fast, then it's really not worth it. Okay, so this is one of those things you got to ask yourself whether or not you are able to benefit from the program that the credit builder app has real fast. So you have a South, for example, you have Varo, you have Chime, you have Grow Credit, you do have a constellation of credit building products that will help you out. You have a credit building loans also, not just credit building products, but credit building loans, credit builder credit cards. So you're able to see a lot of changes in the industry. So overall, when it comes to Extra is a little more expensive than all the other players out there in terms of the kind of services they want. Especially if you were paying $150 a year or I mean $200 a year to build your credit. This might sound very expensive to some people, but hey, listen, it really depends on you. It depends on the kind of strategies you have. It depends on the kind of goals you have. And one thing I also want to say here is that don't look at just the cost. You want to look at the benefits. Just look at the benefits also. Like if you are paying $150, right? And you're only thinking, wow, why am I paying that much? Blah, 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 blah. You start having those sort of negative thoughts and thinking, my ass is out of here because, I can't take this anymore because, I'm losing here. But you got to look at what you think you're losing. You also got to think about what you're getting. So if for any reason you say, listen, I want to really, I want to go with the Extra or their rivals because their rivals have better products and services. Ask yourself, if you leave Extra, what else? What can you not get with the other players? Because every player has a unique business model anyway. Let's talk about the registration. So when we actually think about Extra, Extra is available to most adults in the United States. So to open an account, you need to meet the following criteria: 18 years of age or older. You must have a social security number or ITIN number. You must have a U.S. address when you can receive your Extra card, and a U.S. based bank account. So the bank account part is really important. Don't think of it as an afterthought. I mean, I think this is like repetition, but don't consider this an afterthought. And so overall, Extra is really safe and secure. I mean, not a problem at all. I mean, we have researched the company, and we know for a fact that it is very safe and secure. You don't have to worry about anything. And one thing I also need to say here is that when you think about Extra in terms of security, they actually use several third-party sources to ensure that your money and your data is safe. And it uses Duola, a well-known financial data company, to actually process payments. So for the financial tracker, it uses Plod, another third-party integration company that is considered a leader in the financial technology space and has a strong record of keeping information as is safe. So this is really important. And so overall, in our view, Extra also has services in place that allow you to actually lock and replace stolen or lost debit cards. So this helps you. This actually helps you avoid owing money that you didn't spend. The company doesn't share your data outside with the credit bureaus, and as it really noted in its privacy, you really have to, like one thing I want to say here is that when you think about considering an Extra, barely ask yourself, am I really am I in the right mind right now? Do I really need it? What kind of like, if I were not to get it, what am I losing here? Well, you're not losing anything. You're just not building credit as fast as you would love to have it. So is Extra really worth it? In our view, yes. In most cases, you can build credit without paying interest or fees. If the fees are not appealing to you, you can build credit by using a secure credit card and paying the bills on time, or sign on as someone's authorized user using their credit card to help build credit. Now, these methods, however, require time. It can take you many months of really slowly building a positive credit history to be able to take out a mortgage or an auto loan at a reasonable rate. So those are things you need to think about. And so when you weigh the pros and cons of this service, Extra is really worth it. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. God bless you. In today's conversation, I was just giving you an extra in-depth review, and I gave you the overview, the features, the services, the fees, the contact, the rivals, the registration, and in the end, I gave you the verdict. Thank you. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time, but until then, remember, stay marvelous.